Something else I can share with you is my DIY is currently fueled on crumpets. Good morning, folks. It is going to happen today, I promise. The longest delivery we will ever probably receive is our first, and it's arriving today. Now, if you had seen the last video when we were up here, there's been 2 failed attempts already. Not failed attempts, just they never left the yard. So I'm hoping that this promise of a Monday morning at 7-8 o'clock is actually going to pay off. I think they have to book in a slot to use the motorway for an extra long load, so they had to deliver. This was the last time that they could deliver. Oh, I heard rumbles. It's just the bin man, but it's a good thing because I didn't know they were coming, which means at least we're not going to block them in an hour's time. So while a lot of it is just Christmas decorations and fluffy unicorns stuffed in boxes, I really want to make sure that this is all secure. But because of the nature of the building, because it's a parlour, it's got doors everywhere. It's got an access door there, it's got cows in, cows out, and then the other door. None of these been in use, but they're just padlocked at the moment. Well, I'm trying my best to bring up all the tools I need. I'm always going to leave stuff behind until we're actually here. So I haven't got the 8mm bit, hex bit for this, but just figured out a quick hack. Not rocket science, but if it's the difference between being able to do something or not, just putting it in the chuck of the drill, hopefully this will go through the sheet steel. They are pretty secure doors, they're metal sliding doors. And my last little job is just to duct tape some black plastic on there, just so that any driving rain's not going to blow through and make a mess of our cardboard boxes. Well, the pink fluffy unicorns are safe, but like I say, we're going to be sensible, not put anything valuable in these rooms. We're just going to take out a second mortgage to buy a shipping container. They're not easy to get hold of at the moment. Well, not ones that don't have holes in the roof. Because this is the old parlour, there was this whole series of tanks and things like that. And so I don't know what that bit was, but there's a pad here, which might have had something on. And then quite a lot of heavy duty electrics in there, which hopefully James, who did the workshop, is going to come and help me unpick. I don't know if that's over the top pointing, or is that meant to be render? What we've got here is a super soft sand zone. So when we come to do our line pointing, we need to be really careful about how hard our mortar is, because even the stuff that was used traditionally is not actually as soft as it should be. There's quite a lot of industrial waste goes into lime mortar, the historical lime mortars around here, supposedly. All the little black flecks and stuff, which is the porcelain, I think it's called, like we had in our, when we repointed last year. And that's what makes it go hard. If you have too much of that, then the lime mortar becomes harder than the stone itself, and you end up with all the ghosting or the kind of erosion of the stone, and it kind of ends up concave. But these are just massive. I mean, they're not, it's not even coursed, it's a bizarre section of wall. And then this is much more recent. Even the bricks, I don't even think it's lime mortar in there, so this may have been, you know, the last century. Still waiting. I'm guessing this is what it's like to be reliant on suppliers for the next 2 or 3 years. So, more jobs to get done. Flapping metal. This is probably the most annoying sound you'll ever hear when you're sat trying to have a cup of tea. Well, that's kind of taken the sting out of the tail, but there's not much up there to screw into. While we continue to wait for the delivery, I will explain the very first proper on the tools job we have to do here, which is to repair the base of several of these steel columns. On the whole, the external ones are fine. Most of the time they come down into the cubicles along the side, which are kind of full of sand and bedding. That's been freely draining, so they tend to be okay. But whereas down the alleys here, where all the muck would have built up and been scraped, and it probably would have sat, there's quite a lot of decay. There's about half a dozen of these to get sorted, and what the structural engineer expect is to cut out the concrete around the base, which is what I need to be starting on today or this week. And then basically as soon as we get below concrete level, then there's unlikely to be significant rot in the steel because there's no oxygen. So he's saying go down and you need basically 150mm, 200mm of good steel either side. And then I've got a structural welder coming up on Saturday. We're still waiting, and full-blown picking around at the steels has turned into Armageddon. My initial idea was to take the cut-off saw and cut a nice, perfectly neat square with water, no dust, and then break out everything inside that. Got no petrol, got no water supply yet, and I can't leave site until the delivery's been. So I'm just going to start nibbling away, and I can tidy up the space afterwards. It should break away easy enough, this slab. So I'd say we're done on seal one. So just as Richard, our structural engineer, said, you can see where the rot's happened. It's just at concrete slab height where stuff's been building up on top of it. And this is not actually a structural post, this is a gate post. But I'm glad we did that. It was really quite daunting looking at this last week, thinking, you know, there's half a dozen, if not more, of these. And the more you pick at something like this, the more horrors you find. But now I've done one, took, you know, less than an hour. I think we can move on to the next. The joys of WhatsApp means I can send progress photos to David the welder during the week. Another one done. Kind of kicking myself that I didn't bring a shovel. Digging around like a dog in there. What a good start for first day, apart from the fact that no one else is working on our side as far as deliveries. I've now managed to do all four on this side of the building. This one's pretty much as good as new. This would have been, I'm guessing, where the feed would have been, you know, silage banked up, haylage banked up on these sides, so there wouldn't have actually been cattle here. Maybe that's why it's always been a bit drier in the middle. Anyway, we burnt our cup of tea. On the topic of cups of tea, if you want to lighten our load and make our move easier, I think we've got a box of about 20 left. So if you want to order one of these, the current colour is blue with a white inside, and I will link to it now, and Joe's got a load packaged up ready to stand out. Something else I can share with you is my DIY is currently fueled on crumpets. It's all I brought with me for the day, so I'm toasting crumpets in pairs throughout the day. There you go, doesn't get much better than that, does it? Crumpets is actually quite often my child-friendly curse word around the house. Right, I need to change the scenery, and we are not going to be getting our chassis today. They're coming on Wednesday. I don't know what the excuse was, or not the excuse. I give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure there was a good reason, but the owner of the company is actually going to deliver them himself now. on Thursday, or on Wednesday. Which means at least I know what I'm doing today and crack on with this. But also we've got an errand to run. As you know, one of the first bits to do on the farm is to build the cabin that we're going to be living in. And to do that, we're going to be building on the chassis, which are not here. But we're going to need a whole load of timber, and it's quite a big bill. And we've been trying to find ways of saving along the way. And one thing that we can save on is timber, because there's a load of reclaimed timber at the local auction centre, about £2,500 worth, but it saved us 1,800 quid, so it was worth doing. But we've got to find a way of getting it back here. So as you might have gathered, it looks like videos are going to be a little bit jumbled for the next few years, because things tend to not go as well planned as I'd thought. So hopefully this way we'll just be showing a bit of this and that each day, and there'll be a main topic of the day, I guess. But as you can see, when things don't go to plan and deliveries don't go to plan, we've got to just roll with it. You'd be glad to know, or upset to know, that we didn't buy any of the tractors. There were, however, two buggies, you know, what do you call them, UTVs. We've been looking for one for a while, like a Ranger or a Mule. Ideally one that was 4 or 5 seats, you know, with 2 rows, like a crew. They're a lot of money for what they are, because you can pick up a second-hand pickup for something less than that. One of them didn't sell at the weekend. I might just see and ask what their reserve was, maybe do a deal. So in the auction at the weekend was this Ranger, Polaris Ranger. We've been looking at a few. You can get the Kawasaki Mule as well, or Kubota, there's a bunch of them. But this one didn't sell, or it didn't need a reserve. These need tyres. But I've asked to have a look at it and see if we can do a deal if it's any good. It does appear that it comes with a free pond. Oh, that's going to end badly, isn't it? Got service light, nearly 5,000 hours. Did nearly start. No, I think we'll save ourselves the hassle. It's a shame, because it's quite a good bit of kit if it was in good order, but that's pretty well used. Oh, well, we nearly ended up spending our savings. We have been looking at one of those vehicles, but that was absolutely knackered from what I could tell. Didn't sound like it was a flat battery, it just sounded like it was seized. And 5,000 hours on a machine like that is quite a lot, really. Not actually worked out quite where I'm putting stuff yet. I'm hoping that Paul, the man with the lorry that we've now got coming at the end of the week, can come in with his truck and hire a bit off. And if he does that, he'll want to put that. I guess he can put it either side. So if we put our stuff there, and then the joist can go over this side. Just left the camera running in the barn while I was making my crumpets. I mean, we will reach a point when we have met the threshold of too many crumpets in a day, but I found a tin of baked beans. So lunch is baked beans on crumpets. I thought I'd leave the timber because I can do that when it's dark outside. Believe it or not, there is a working light in that stone barn. So I'm getting on with the footings. As you can see, this is our water feature. It's like a Infinity Lake. Let's take a moment because the rain has stopped and it's my favourite part of the day up here. But this is primary reason why we fell in love with the farm. I mean, it'd be a lot more peaceful when there's not big steel doors banging around in the background. Get a bit gloomy for this feeble little GoPro, but one thing I didn't show you. I also picked up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lengths of window board, all hardwood, and some weather strips, weather bars for doors. Not sure if I'll need those here, but certainly the whole of the cabin's windowsills could now be sorted. I'm back. Hello, doggy. Happy Valentine's. Oh, they just popped open. I haven't actually opened them, I promise. And there's my dirty, my dirty dishes. Hello. Did you miss me? Well, the day didn't go quite to plan, but we made progress, and it didn't feel like it was too much hard work. Although
Tim's too nice.
Tomorrow morning, oh, I'm too nice. Joe says I should be really having a go at the suppliers. Yeah, I think what we need to do is just double. Whatever lead time is, just double it.
No, I just think that if someone wants us a date, then if they don't make it, then they should be fixing it with compensation or going out of their way. Why could he not have delivered it this evening, you know?
It's true. Anyway, we'll leave project managing to Joe. Thanks for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself, and we'll see you next time.